Last time we went 23 minutes without anything happening, and all kinds of stuff happened in the last 30 seconds. Okay, I may exaggerate, but only a little. Anyway, Bill was unconscious and in a wagon cage with several other captured humans, while Jeff was hanging out in a little tree stand with a pretty woman. There are indeed times when life just isn't fair. Anyway, Bill wakes up and wants to know what's going on, but one of the other humans clamps a hand around his mouth because everybody knows humans can't talk.
Look at the beasts. Their capture was so easy it wasn't even a contest. Waiting for us like sitting ducks. How stupid! Well, at least they'll give us a fresh supply of humanoids for our war games.
That's not what Zayas said, and he's the boss.
With all due respect, Dr. Zayas, you know how Urko feels about our work.
Certainly I know.
Then you will still allow Zira and me to have the 6 humanoids we require to continue our behavioral study experiments?
My word has always been my bond. Nothing has happened to change that.
He's sure of that, which means his hold on power is pretty tenuous. It's plain to see we're following basic TV plot here.
What a thick-brained lout that General Urko is.
Shh, Zira. There are gorillas all around us.
We have a standard totalitarian state where speaking ill about the leaders is punishable by imprisonment or death. In other words, the future of the United States. Before they can talk more, a ram's horn bugle announces the arrival of the captives. A ram's horn, basically a shofar. I'm guessing they can't find a real trumpet because Urko melted down all the brass instruments on the continent to make bullet casings. That's why whenever they shoot a bullet, it sounds like this.
Nova, we've got to find Bill. Where did the apes take Bill? Where, Nova? Where did the apes take Bill?
You know what she hears? Blah, blah, Bill. Blah, 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 Bill. Blah, 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 Bill. But she may be a little smarter than he is because she figures out that he wants to go to Bill. She has an idea where that might be.
Well, as I always say, the only good humanoids are caged ones. Or better yet, dead ones.
That's your opinion, Urko. I believe much can be learned from humanoids.
Learn from them? What rubbish! Humanoids are nothing but a plague. They should be destroyed.
Zayas reiterates the law that if even one human shows the power of speech, they'll all be wiped out as a danger to simianity. Now Bill knows why that other guy kept him from talking. Urko is ready to take these critters off to be divided up into hard labor slaves or war game casualties. Zayas says, "Not so fast, you know the rules."
What beautiful eyes.
What did you say, dear?
The color of this humanoid's eyes. They're so unusual. Hello, Blue Eyes. Would you like to work with Cornelius and me, Blue Eyes?
Why, hello there. What happened to blue-eyed humans? I should know. Urko says, never mind the blue eyes, these are all mine. Zayas says, no, they aren't. I promised Cornelius and Zira first pick, and they get 6 of them. Urko is indignant. You get the feeling that's his resting state.
Rot on your experiments!
And rot on your war games.
Silence! It is unseemly for intelligent apes to argue in public.
This is one of the most annoying things about the dialogue. We emphasize ape this and ape that, gorilla blah or chimpanzee blah blah. It doesn't sound real. Reviews of the show uniformly denounce the poor dialogue as well as the lackluster deliveries from our voice actors. So that means, aside from stories that are lame to non-existent, to actors who are doing nothing but putting in the time and collecting their check, to animation that appears to be about half finished, the show is almost perfect.
20% of the remaining captives will go to pet detail. 15% will be assigned to animal labor detail. 20% of the humanoids will go to the Animal Replacement Preserve.
In other words, a zoo. Just don't call it Irving's Zoo. I don't want to be associated with this.
I protest!
As you wish, Urko, but my word is law.
Today your word is law, Dr. Zaius. But tomorrow, who knows? Tomorrow it just might be us gorillas who are giving the orders.
It's pretty obvious that we're doing a show about racism. The apes can't get along among themselves because some are gorillas and some are orangutans and so on. But they are united in their fear of humans.
Oh, the Protestants hate the Catholics, and the Catholics hate the Protestants, and the Hindus hate the Muslims, and everybody hates the Jews.
Yes, these apes are almost human in their behavior. And by the way, Urko just told us he's planning a military coup. I'm not sure Zaius caught that.
Now, Zira, aren't you getting a little bit carried away?
Not at all, Cornelius. I know what I saw.
You make the beast seem almost as smart as we apes, Zira.
Oh, I didn't mean to imply that...
Well then, Zira, why don't you have the beast demonstrate his brilliance to us?
It will be my pleasure, Dr. Zaius.
Remember the scene in, I forget which movie, when the humans captured Cornelius and Zira and they were giving them simple problems to solve? I loved it when Zira stacked the blocks and then climbed up and sat on them. One of the guys asked why she didn't take the banana that was supposed to be the reward. She said, "Because I loathe bananas," thus proving she could talk. Let's see that in reverse.
Okay, Blue Eyes, show these doubting simians how smart you are.
Amazing.
Very impressive.
Oh, that's nothing. You should see his mathematical aptitude.
Too bad he can't stay. He's late for a council meeting.
If Blue Eyes is so smart, I think you should schedule a probing operation on his brain centers.
You're crazy! Operate on my brain!
Don't worry, as you saw, we have plenty of extended still pictures that we can zoom in and out on while nothing happens.
A talking humanoid.
A talking human whose world has been turned upside down, but a talking, reasoning human being nevertheless.
But how? Who?
My name is Bill Hudson. I'm an astronaut from another planet in the solar system, a planet called Earth.
We know he's actually on Earth, but whether he'll ever figure that out or not, I don't know yet. Private First Class Rat Fink there reports to the council. Too bad he only reports that a human can talk. He won't bother to report what the human said about being from another planet. Zaius says we have to act quickly.
We of this chamber are the only simians who know the real danger humanoids represent. We are the only simians who know that once, long ago, humanoids ruled this planet. Humanoids lorded over all other animals, including we apes.
That should be us apes. We is nominative, us is the accusative that you want here. I'll tell you that means we is the subject of a sentence and us is everything else. I'll leave Zaius to go find a dictionary.
But humanoid greed, humanoid folly, humanoid lust for power caused him to destroy his civilization in a cataclysmic war. And from his dust, our great ape society emerged. But it is also written that if humanoids were to regain the intelligence of language, they would once again become masters of this planet and would once again destroy it.
Kind of a bold assumption, isn't it? But this is basic European colonial attitude. We need to civilize the Hingadorians because if we leave them to their own devices, they'll just destroy themselves. Now, they haven't done so in thousands of years, but they will. And besides, there's a squillion tons of gold under their land. Too often, especially in the 70s, producers underestimated kids. They thought you had to beat them over the head with these ideals. They got it. Why do you think they grew up to be the generation that desperately wants diversity, equity, and inclusion? The boomer generation, my generation, preached it to them in 100 different ways, including this one. They understood without that. We've had equality issues come up in some other shows, and they were handled pretty well. This feels like a sledgehammer to the face. Kids didn't like that any more than you or I would. Another likely reason the show failed.
Here.
There!
He and all humanoids must be destroyed immediately.
Here we go beating the kids over the head with it. One person does something, so all must pay for it. Behold American expansion.
Guards! Place the militia on full alert. Surround the laboratory.
Cornelius, it was the security guard. He must have overheard Blue Eyes talking to us and reported it. Oh, what are we going to do?
There's only one thing we can do.
Surround the building!
No, I don't think that's it. They help Bill slip up to the roof where he's able to reach another building and get away. What about them? Won't they be in trouble for helping him escape?
The humanoid beast has overpowered them and escaped. The humanoid beast must be captured at once. Our civilization's survival depends on it.
Did they tell him Blue Eyes is from another world and there's a good chance all he wants to do is go home? Honestly, I don't know. We don't see anything to suggest one way or the other. We have an extended sequence with the apes searching and Bill evading. It's one of those typical stretches where we get impressive artwork and tension-building music coupled with nothing happening. They have searchlights scouring the sky because that guard said not only could the humanoid talk, he could fly. He really built the story up in hopes of getting a medal, maybe even a promotion.
Your distinguished act of reporting what you overheard is an example of simian patriotism at its highest. Once again, our thanks, and you may now return to your post.
He didn't get either one. He went back to work wondering what kind of lie you did have to tell to get ahead around here.
Debark and deploy!
Bill has slipped out of town. He's hiding in a field of tall grass. If he can crawl through it to the other side quietly enough, he might get away. There's only one way to find out.
Bill, what are you... Jeff, how did you... No time. They're right behind me. Let's go.
Which way?
As usual, the men get themselves in a mess and the woman has to get them out of it. But she's not taking them to safety.
Sentries, you're both wanted for search detail. But we're the only guards here. Don't worry about the beasts. They're locked in tight for the night.
I have a feeling that career-wise, those will be famous last words.
Just a little more, Bill. We'll make it.
Let's go. Let's commandeer that truck. We'll load the prisoners in the back.
The weird mixture of medieval and modern technology is kind of jarring. They have trucks, jeeps, cannons, everything but planes. But a wooden bar is the best lock they can come up with? It's not hard to see that they inherited things like the vehicles and the idea of civilization from their human predecessors, but when it comes to building their own stuff, they took their cue from the 17th century. We'll burn the wagon cages for good measure and then get everybody out of here. There again, the general uses a jeep designed by humans, but when they build their own cages, they can't find a material more durable than wood. The big question here is, how has that jeep survived for 2,000 years? That's good maintenance.
You fool! I didn't mean it literally. Don't you have any brains? You should have left a guard there.
It's been a while since I got to say, told you. Bill heads up a mountain road, but the apes have spotted them and are in hot pursuit.
Push it over!
Around it! Move around it!
We can't, sir. The road is too narrow.
Then clear it out of the way!
Yes, sir, but it will take a few hours at least.
Or not. The last couple of minutes are taken up with drab dialogue. Jeff and Bill want to help these people defend themselves, but to make things like fortifications, they need tools that went down in the lake with their capsule. That means they need to go retrieve them. General Urkel blusters about blabbity blab, and that's it. At least our story is moving a little, but it's still not big enough to fill the time slot. We still have long stretches of impressive images and music, and that's not going to hold a kid's interest. The story, pacing, and the animation in particular scream low budget. And again, these kids weren't slow. They could tell the difference between quality and something slapped together to make a buck. All 13 episodes aired, but I have a feeling that by the last one, the only people watching were the writers and illustrators, and all they were doing was face-palming and muttering, "What the frappuccino were we thinking?"